Hello, how's it going? So just got finished watching this film, David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers from 1988. It's quite a strange one, as you'd expect from David Cronenberg, and yeah, I thought it was a really good film. Perhaps not one of my favourite David Cronenberg films. Like, I do prefer, after watching this, I will say that I do prefer Videodrome, The Fly remake, Shivers. I haven't seen Rabid, so I do prefer those. The Brood, I'd probably say I even prefer to Dead Ringers a little bit more. Although there's quite a lot to Dead Ringers. It's quite a lengthy one as well, at nearly 2 hours, 1 hour and 55 minutes. So tells the story of identical twins, Elliot Mantle and his brother Beverly Mantle. And they're surgeons. They work in fertility, so they work on female fertility. And they're quite revolutionary, you know, with their surgery. They've got a practice and they're on the rise. You know, they're really good, they're really great at what they do for fertility in the medical field. Yeah, some interesting scenes. It's quite a hard one to explain, but really interesting. It's got a very kind of downbeat ending. I suppose the ending could be left to interpretation somewhat. So I'll talk a bit about the ending. It wasn't as shocking as I thought it'd be. Obviously Beverly, some spoilers here, so Beverly ends up obviously butchering Elliot after they're both you know, drugged up to the eyeballs, and then it sort of ends with with Beverly lying on Elliot's body with the dramatic sort of like downbeat score playing. And you know, it's really strange because Beverly starts to have a downward spiral throughout the film, and he has these weird tools made because he starts thinking that in his surgery he's viewing women as being mutants. He starts thinking their genitalia is mutating and things like that. So he has these strange instruments made by this fellow. Some of them are there, as you can see, like these weird claws, and metal claws, and very strange instruments, that's for sure. So it goes from there, and that's sort of in the middle of the film. Elliot obviously says we can't practice with these, but there's a scene where Beverly tries to practice with them, and he ends up like really cutting a woman very deeply, and she's bleeding, and he climbs on top of her. He's still quite like under the influence of the drugs he's been taking, and he climbs on top of her, and you know, they're saying, what are you doing? And there's some crazy stuff in there and things as well. And it's also, I'd say it's more of a drama than a horror movie, although it does have its kind of like body horror beats, as like a David Cronenberg film tends to have, especially his you know, 70s and 80s stuff. Very interesting indeed. The relationship between Beverly and Elliot's interesting to watch. Jeremy Irons puts in a great performance. He plays both of them, which is quite remarkable. People can hardly distinguish, you know, characters in the films between them, and they swap around a lot, and you know, have sex with the same woman and pretend it's the same one. Elliot obviously starts it with the woman who Beverly sort of falls for, called Claire. She finds out about that and is quite disturbed and disgusted. Beverly's, I'd say Elliot's a bit more of the forceful one. He's the dominant one out of the pairing. No, Elliot, sorry, I'd say yeah, Elliot's the more dominant one out of the pairing. Beverly's kind of the more like, he's like the gentler side of the twins, and Claire and Beverly sort of form a relationship. Obviously Elliot slept with her first and announces that to her when she confronts them both at the dinner table, sort of at the beginning of the film, about the relationship and things like that. I'd say Elliot, yeah, he's a bit more dominating than Beverly. He tends to be the leader of the two. Obviously they're both really good in the medical field that they work in. Yeah, just some really strange scenes and stuff. It wasn't as strange as I thought it'd be. I thought it'd have more like body horror elements and things. And back to the ending, I thought when he was sort of like using that claw instrument, as you can see on the cover here, slicing at Elliot's arm, I thought Beverly was going to sew them together as like Siamese twins, and I thought the film would end with them like, you know, a disturbing image of them as Siamese twins, like sewn together, maybe dead or still alive. I thought something strange like that was going to happen. Like I say with the ending, I think it's a bit down to your interpretation. I think like Beverly ended up committing suicide after killing Elliot because he couldn't deal with living his life without his twin. So there's a lot of like beats and notes about separation in this film. You know, like the whole, like, because they're twins and they're identical and they've lived their lives together and they've gone into the same work field together, into the medical field, and have a practice together. You know, I don't think one can exist without the other. That's the problem they both face. Really interesting stuff. Good concept. I'd definitely like to watch it again and probably get a little bit more out of it and hit on some more things, because I'm sure on a second watch or viewing, it'll you know, you'll be able to pick out more things in the narrative, more concepts and things, perhaps that I didn't notice first time around. But really good one. Thanks for picking this one. It's one of the David Cronenberg films I've had for a while but never got around to watching it, and I'm a big fan of his work. There's still a few I need to see, like Rabid and some of his later films. So this is the edition I watched, the Scream Factory, really nice edition. Yeah, it had a new 2K scan, and the film's quite long, about 115 minutes, as you can see there. That's the kind of garments they wear, the surgical garments when they're operating. Yeah, really strange one. This is arguably David Cronenberg's masterpiece. It's shot like it. That's one thing I will say about this film. It's shot very very well and looks quite yeah, quite beautifully made actually. The acting's superb from Jeremy Iron, like, you know, first class acting there, playing both parts of Beverly and Elliot. The supporting actors and actresses are really good as well, although they don't get as much screen time because it's obviously predominantly about the two twins. But yeah, really good film from David Cronenberg. Again, not his funniest film, or to me his most you know, craziest body horror film. I do prefer a lot of his other films, but I will say I do respect this one. It's very made very well, and you could argue that it's his masterpiece just because of the acting and the score and the way it's made. Yeah, Dead Ringers, really enjoyed it. So thanks for voting for that one. I'll put some more films up in the poll for next week and I'll do a viewer's choice. That's my quick thoughts and reaction on David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers. So thanks for that, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.